Bonjour tout le monde, c'est moi Charlotte et aujourd'hui nous allons regarder une citation que j'ai trouvée sur internet. Cette citation parle de la nécessité de profiter de vos enfants. Donc c'est une idée qui est très proche à mon cœur. On y va. Hello everyone, today we're going to look at a quotation I found. So I've actually seen this from a couple of different places, and I think maybe it's translated from English into French, but what I found is like a meme with some text and an image, and I found it on various sites, so various pages. So one is from la page Facebook Mort de Rire. So you might remember that Mort de Rire, MDR, is like a abbreviated form for saying laugh out loud. Mort de Rire means dying of laughter, so very funny. So even though this isn't really a funny meme, the text is actually quite serious and thought-provoking, I think. And I've also seen it on a different separately on a different French website, which may still be in my browser history. I think it might be like rigolette.fr. Whatever it is, I'll read it out to you. I can't find the original source, so if you know where the original source is, dites-moi, okay, tell me. So the text behind me is the quotation or the idea. So it's written something along the lines of this. So profitez de vos enfants is the general idea. It's the title I've given this. Profitez de vos enfants. Let's zoom in a little bit there so you can actually see the words. Ok. So le texte, c'est le suivant. Le jour viendra où il y aura du silence dans votre maison. Let's go a little bit further. Un peu plus près. Le jour viendra où il y aura du silence dans votre maison. Tout sera propre et rangé. Vous serez calme et insouciante ou insouciant. En attendant, profitez de vos enfants parce que or car, I found both examples, so either of them ils vont dire la même chose. Car ce que vous vivez maintenant ne reviendra jamais. Ne reviendra jamais. Et point. Pour finir. Donc, pardon. J'ai frappé le micro avec le stylo là. Ok, donc le jour. So what I've done here is j'ai mis en bleu les verbes. I put the verbs in blue. And vous allez voir que la plupart des verbes est au futur. Par exemple, viendra, aura, sera, serait, reviendra. So most of those verbs are in the future tense. However, there are two in the present tense. Profitez et vivez. So what is this all about? Let's have a look. All the verbs are in blue, and underlined we have the adjectives. Okay, so let's have a little look at the meaning. Le jour, the day, viendra. That's from the verb venir. 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 To come. So if that's in the future tense, and it's talking about le jour is the subject of that verb. Le jour viendra. The day will come. Okay? Le day. The day will come. Où. So, où here can mean where. Well, in other contexts it can mean where, but here it means when. So, the day when something will happen. Le jour viendra où il y aura. So, il y a in the present tense would be there is, or it could mean there are, right? Like, il y a un stylo ici. There is a pen here. Il y a beaucoup de personnes dehors. There are lots of people outside. So il y a, which you probably heard, means there is or there are. That's the present tense. But il y aura, that's the future tense. So the bit that changes there is the verb avoir. Avoir means to have, but it means there will be when you translate it into English. So il y a, there is, or there are. That's the present tense. Voilà, there is, there are, il y a. There is, there are, il y a. Il y a, there is, there are. If that helps. Il y aura. So the bit that changes is the avoir part of it. I'll underline it there and I'll underline it there. There will be. Aura. Okay, spelled like the word aura in English. I think it's spelled like that. Il y a, il y aura. There will be. Okay? Right, so let's go back. The day will come when there will be. Il y aura. So in that little il y a, il y aura, you can change the avoir bit depending on when you're talking. Il y a, there is. Il y aura, there will be. Il y avait, there was or there were. So you can use that little phrase in various tenses, but you need to change the verb avoir, okay, depending on whether you're talking about there is, present tense, there will be, that's the future tense, or there was or there were, past tense, imperfect tense, or any other tenses. Le jour viendra où il y aura du silence dans votre maison. Now, I found versions of this, like here, for example, on Mort de Rire, where it doesn't say du silence. Can you see that? It says il y aura silence. It doesn't sound quite right to me. There will be some silence. There will be silence. Normally, we use like a kind of quantifier. We use du or de la or de in front of something when we mean some. It needs some kind of article in front of it in French normally, unless we're being like a little bit lax. Anyway, if it's written du silence makes more sense to me. The day will come when there will be silence dans votre maison. Votre maison. So this text is addressing vous. So vous, when you use vous to address like you in French, it can either be like one person you're addressing in the formal polite way, or it could be multiple people. Vous tous, all of you, right? And it could be all of you you're addressing informally, or all of you you're addressing formally. But here it is addressing an individu, one person. The reason I know that, or I think that, is because we have some adjectives here, and the adjectives are in the singular, masculine kind of default version. They're not in the plural. So we're going to see that in the next line. But when it's saying votre maison, I think it's saying in your house, the one person I'm addressing, even if it's being read or if it's published and being perceived by more than one person, it's got this kind of personal sense, okay? So, tout sera. So, if you know the song Que sera sera, that's using the Spanish que and sera, which I guess is from a Spanish verb to be. Je ne parle pas l'espagnol moi. But here it's the same meaning. So what will be will be. So sera is will be, and it's in the third person singular, so it's agreeing with everything. Tout. Everything will be propre et rangé. Propre is clean, Ranger is tidy, okay? Ranger, like arranged in its place. Le jour viendra où il y aura du silence dans votre maison. The day will come when there will be silence in your home or your house. Maison is house or home. Tout sera propre et rangé. Everything will be clean and tidy. Vous serez... Okay, so this is the same verb as that. So it's the verb être, which means to be, but it's in the future tense. So that's the verb être. It's got a circumflex over the E, and that means to be. It will be, everything will be. But here it's vous serez. So in the future tense, the verb être is je serai, tu seras, il, elle, on sera. Same as that one. Nous serons, ONS at the end, as is the usual customary for the new form of verbs. Vous serez, ils, elles seront. Go and check that out if you need to. It's the verb être in the future tense. You'll find it on like the conjugation tool on Word Reference or any other conjugation tool, conjugation book, table of conjugations. So it's quite irregular. It has this SER root when it's in the future tense. Otherwise it's just quite an irregular verb, and it's an auxiliary verb, which means you use it for compound tenses, and it's when you're talking about I am, you are, he is, she is, I will be, we were, etc. Very useful. Tout sera propre et rangé. Everything in your home will be clean and tidy. Vous serez calme. So I was talking about how this is addressing un individu, one individual. Okay. The reason I think that is because calme has just an E on the end. There's no S. Insouciant doesn't have an S at the end, so it's saying you will be calm, or calm. And carefree. Insouciant. Soucier is a verb to worry or to be concerned, and this here is basically kind of like an adjective saying you will. Insouciant is like the opposite of souciant, which means not worried. Carefree. Okay? So, calme, insouciant, they're the masculine form, singular form of the adjectives calm, carefree. Vous serez calme et insouciant. Now, if I was talking to specifically a female individual, then there would be here, for example, an extra E at the end, and that would change the en ending, the ANT, to ont, which would be the feminine spelling and pronunciation of that adjective. So that's something that happens in French all over the shop, even if you're describing an inanimate object. Okay? What I've done in my, because this is a French club video, predominantly for members of my French club, in the handout I have provided some antonyms to these underlined adjectives. So for example, you could say the opposite or the antonym of insouciant could be inquiet, which is like worried, or préoccupé, preoccupied, worried, concerned. Propre, which means clean, the opposite would be sale, dirty. Rangé, which means orderly or tidy, the opposite, mal rangé, untidy. Calme, calm, relaxed, tranquil, that kind of thing. The opposite, you could say agité, agitated, anxious. So on my handout, which is what my club members will receive later today, you'll have the text we're looking at, an explanation. You've got future tense of several of the verbs, which, in fact, the verbs which are in the future tense here. You've got some questions like comment dit-on, blah 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 en français, comment dit-on en anglais. You've got antonyms, you've got the link to this video, you've also got a link to something, some further quotations which are similar, un jour viendra ou blah blah blah, and also a link to an antonym finder, if you like. So there's quite a lot there that you can have if you're interested in joining my club. This is the kind of document you'll receive in an email in like PDF format, as well as a link to this video and a discount on block tuition purchase during the duration of your membership. So please get in touch, and I will be running some offers soon if you're interested in doing that. So yeah, so these are adjectives in the singular masculine form. This one, for example, if you added the extra E in the end, would be the feminine form, which would be used and pronounced slightly differently. Insouciante if you're addressing a female. In a similar way, if I was addressing more than one person, there would be an S on the end of the various adjectives. If the person I'm addressing is, well, actually, if I was addressing any number of people, there would be an S on the end in the written form, and that generally doesn't affect the way it's pronounced. Now let's look at the second part. So, en attendant. So, en attendant means whilst waiting. Attendre is to wait. So this here is taken from the verb attendre, to wait. When you wait for something in French, you don't attendre pour quelque chose, you just attendre quelque chose. So this verb attendre isn't followed by the preposition for, pour, like it is in English. It's just attendre quelque chose, or attendre quelqu'un. En attendant, this little structure, en plus the kind of present participle or the gerund form, means whilst doing something. So it's quite a useful structure. En attendant. Oh, and in order to form that kind of gerund, present participle kind of structure, you take the root of the verb and then you add A-N-T. I'm just thinking if there's any exceptions. I'm not going to go too much into that at the moment because I haven't really prepared for it. But that structure means whilst doing something, and you can change the verb for any other verb in its gerund kind of form. So whilst waiting, profiter, that's a useful verb. Profiter, that's an ER verb, and it's in the U form. That's why it's got an EZ at the end. But in the infinitive form, it's P-R-O-F-I-T-E-R. And the ER ending in the infinitive form is the same pronunciation as the EZ form, which is the VU form. Because it's saying, whilst you're waiting, profitez de vos enfants. Make the most of your children. Enjoy your children. Okay? Not profit from them. Enjoy them, make the most of. So, profiter de quelque chose ou de quelqu'un is to make the most of. It's a very positive thing. And it's also very commonly used. Whilst waiting for what will be, le jour qui viendra. So whilst waiting, profitez de vos enfants, make the most of your children, vos enfants. Now, I found both versions here, parce que or car. Okay, parce que means because, car means since or because. Right, so either of those, c'est la même chose. Ce que vous vivez maintenant, ce que vous vivez, vivre is to live, right? But it can also be translated into English as to experience or what you are going through. So vivre can mean to experience, to live, or to go through. Okay, so it's about something that's happening to you, right? Ce que vous vivez maintenant, maintenant is now, ne reviendra, oh, I can't say that, ne reviendra jamais. So up here we have, at the beginning we have viendra, to it will come, le jour viendra, the day will come, it will come, it will come. And then here we've got ce que vous vivez. Ce que vous vivez is what you are experiencing, what you're living, your life at the moment. All of that is the subject for this next clause. Ne reviendra jamais. Ne and jamais around a verb means never. reviendra agrees with everything contained within this clause, what you are living at the moment, what you're experiencing, what you're going through now. It will never come back. So we have up here the verb venir in the third person singular, future tense. It will come. And then down here at the very end we've got it will not, in the negative, come back. Revenir. The whole verb that's used here is revenir. So you put an R and an E in front of venir and you've got revenir, which is the equivalent of to come back. So that's from the verb revenir. Just move the desk down. Attendez là. Ok. Revenir. Ici, au début, on a venir, viendra, c'est le futur. Et ici, revenir, au futur, reviendra. Ce que vous vivez en ce moment ou maintenant ne reviendra jamais. So we've not only got a ne, we don't have ne and pas, which means will not come back. Ne and pas means not when it follows a verb, or when it, what's that word? Encapsulates, when it comes before and after. Ne and pas normally wraps around a verb, but instead we have ne and jamais. So ne, verb, jamais means never. So ne reviendra jamais means it will never come back. Useful, isn't it? Because maybe you haven't got children, but if you do, it's a reminder that the time, le temps passe vite, très vite. Il faut profiter de vos enfants. You have to, you must make the most of your children. Parce que leur jeunesse va vite passer. La jeunesse is youth. Okay. So let's have a little look at that. We've got, let's read through it one more time. Okay. Le jour, in fact you can just écouter sans regarder le texte. Est-ce que vous le comprenez? J'espère que oui, je crois que oui, probablement. Le jour viendra où il y aura du silence dans votre maison. Tout sera propre et rangé. Vous serez calme et insouciant. En attendant, profitez de vos enfants. Car ce que vous vivez maintenant ne reviendra jamais. I hope you understood that. So, what I'm going to do now is just, I've got this little feeling that I might need an accent on the A in reviendra, but I'm not sure whether I'm getting that confused with Italian. So let me just type in venir or revenir, because they're conjugated in the same way. No, okay, that's fine. Il n'y a pas d'accent ici sur le A, okay? Excuse-moi. Yeah, so the useful thing about this text is you have some future tenses. There are also irregular verbs. Venir changes to vient in the present tense, or viendrait, viendra, etc. in the future. And then we've got the verb être, which has this ser root in the future tense. Je serai, tu seras, il, elle, on sera, etc. Il sera, elle sera, tout sera, blah blah blah. Tout sera, blah blah blah. And then you've got this venir changes to revenir, which is a useful little tactic if you want to have a verb that you repeat, to do again or to redo something. Faire, for example, would become refaire. Okay, remember when you got the e sound at the beginning of the verb venir. Ve, because it's ve, and an e in French is normally pronounced e. So venir instead of venir. Think of le or je serai. Okay, revenir, to come back, or to come again, if you like. And if you make it negative, to not come back, ne pas revenir. Ne revenir jamais. To never come back. Okay, let's see. Another thing to mention is that the verb vivre can mean to experience or to live through or to go through something. Not only to live as in to be être vivant. So that's got a few other translations, a few other meanings in English. Now let's see. Comment dit-on tidy? C'est dans le texte, c'est rangé. Et comment dit-on carefree? Insouciant. Comment dit-on clean? Propre. Propre, it can also have the meaning one's own, ma propre chambre, my own room. Okay, so be aware there might be two translations of that depending on where the adjective is placed and the context as well. Anyway, merci beaucoup et à la prochaine fois. Au revoir.